Hello everyone and welcome. First of all, I'd like to say I'm really excited today because Divi Blueprint 3 is now out, it's live, and to celebrate the launch, we have a discount for you. So let me just show you what discounts we have. So first of all, the launch offer is 40% discount, which saves you almost $100 on the course, and all the information that you need to access the course and the promo codes will all be in the description box below. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you step by step how to build a web page using Divi. Now this page can be used if you're a freelance designer or even if you're a design agency. It just gives you an outline of pretty much the process of building these web pages. So without wasting a lot of time, I'm going to dive in and show you how to create this page. Okay, so in this tutorial, I'm just going to design a page that you could actually use as a freelancer or as a design agency. But the most important thing here is just for you to see how I'm putting these components together. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to create a brand new page. So we're going to come over here to dashboard and we're going to add a new page. So let's call this page freelance. Click on use the Divi builder. Now, if you haven't noticed by now, I enjoy using the visual builder. So I'm going to go straight into the visual builder. So the first thing we're going to do is to add a background image. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background, and I'm going to click on this third tab and click this plus button to upload our image. So my image is in my downloads folder. So I'm just going to come over here, click select, and then I'm going to navigate to my downloads folder. So this is my first image that I need. Okay, so I'm going to click upload an image. So we can see now the image is in the background. So I'm going to save for now, and then we're going to go back and do some more stylish stuff. Add a single row. So what we could do is we can add a blurb or a call to action. It just depends what you want. But in most cases, it is quite good to add a call to action. So I'm just going to search for it here and click on call to action. And then I'm going to add my, in fact, I'll start off with a text like that. And then I'm going to add a title. So I'm just going to copy part of this long text for the title. Okay, now over here on the button text, we can add our text. So we can say, get more info like that. Now, if you notice the button is not showing, that's because the link has not been added. So let's come over here to the link and I'm just going to add my blank link. So now you can see the button is showing. Now let's go to the background because I'm not very happy with this color. So I'm just going to completely get rid of it. So I'm going to click no. Now the size of this module is a bit too big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my set size. So I'm going to come over here to max width and I'm going to say, let's try 860. Okay, that's much better. So what we need to do next is to go into our design tab and make some more customizations. So let's start off with the header text. So first of all, let's make it bold and all caps, and we're going to make it slightly bigger as well. So 34 is fine. The letter spacing, yeah, let's add some letter spacing. Okay, 2 is good, and I'll leave the line height as it is. Now let's come over here to our body text. Let's increase that because 14 is a bit too small. So 18 looks fine. We're going to make it bold, and we're going to increase the line height to maybe 1.8. Brilliant. Okay, that's looking good so far. Now let's go to the button. So at the moment, it's just an outline. Let's change that. So let's come over here to custom button styles and let's activate it. So by clicking yes, we get more options now to customize that button. So first of all, the text size is 20. Let's bump it up to about 22. The text color is fine as it is, but the background color needs to change. So I'm going to use this orange. And then we're going to scroll down. We don't need any border color on this, so I'm going to get rid of that. We're going to come over here to button radius. Now, here's a cool thing. If you want your button to look like a pill, all you have to do is to drag it until you get to, say, about 50. Okay, so that's a different style button if you want to do that. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as it is. I'm going to come over here to our latest spacing, and I'm going to increase it to about 2. And we're going to make the text bold and all caps. I can see that my spelling is wrong. I'll go and fix it in a short while. So let's come over here to button icon, and I'm going to say no because I don't really need that. So scrolling over the way here, our button hover color is, right now we have nothing on there. So let's add our hover color. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose, in fact, I'll make it a bit more transparent. In fact, I'm setting up the wrong one. I'm supposed to be working on the background color. So let's come over here to our background hover. So I'm going to click this orange and make it transparent. So let's see if that works. Okay, fantastic. So that's working now. And then we're going to come over here to our button hover text color, and we're going to select white for that. So you can see now it's looking good. And then finally, we need to get rid of that border. And then over here on the border width, I'm going to get rid of that as well. So now when I mouse over it, you can see that we have a very cool style. If you've noticed, if I hover over here, we can see that on the hover, the button is turning into a rectangle. So to fix that, we need to come over here to the border radius of the hover and make sure that it matches what we have here on the top on the border radius. So now when we hover over it, you can see that it's consistent. Okay, so that's looking really good. I'm going to go ahead now and save. So next we are going to add a section which is going to have our services. So I'm going to click on add new section, click on regular, and I'm just going to choose these 3 columns. Okay, so in the 3 columns, we're going to have blurbs. So the title, I'm just going to add lorem text like that. But in your case, obviously, you can add whatever text that you want. I'm going to paste my text in here. So for the link, I'm going to leave it as it is. And then icon and image, we're going to use an icon. So let's just add our icons that we need here. So right now, I'm just going to add random ones because the idea is just to show you how to put this together. So next, let's go to our design tab and make even further customizations. So I'm going to come over here to image and icon, and let's change that color. So I'm going to make it white. Placement top is fine. Use icon font size, yes, but we need to make this smaller. Now the problem is because I've made it white, I can't see it really what's happening. So I'm going to save this for now and add a background color to this section. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background, and I'm going to choose a solid background color. So let's go ahead and use this red. Okay, so I'm going to save and come back to my module settings. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my design tab, click on text. So instead of having it on dark, we're going to switch that to light so we can read it. The orientation needs to be center. Right, so let's come over here to our header text. So let's make it bold and all caps. And we're going to make it slightly bigger. And we're also going to add some letter spacing and a bit of line height. Okay, so that's looking good so far. Let's go into our body text. So 14 is a bit too small. Let's bump it up to about, say, 16 or maybe even 15. Okay, so that's okay. Right, so I'm pretty much I'm pleased with that. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And then to save me time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate these and just add them to the next columns. So I'm just going to copy and paste like that. And then I'm going to go into each one of these and adjust the icons. So I'm going to come over here to image and icon. I'm going to choose a different icon for this. Now what I've noticed is the icons are a bit too big, so I might need to go in and change that. So let's come over here to design, image and icon. So I'm going to reduce the size to about, say, even 56. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and save. Come over here to the first one, design, image and icon, and down to about 56. Okay, so I'm going to save for now. And then finally, we're going to come over here and do the same, image and icon. So you can see it's taking me a bit of time now. That's because I should have got it right the first time. So it's just easier that way. But anyway, come over here to content, click on image and icon, and let's change that. Icon. Okay, so I'm going to choose this one. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go now and save. Now it's time to add a new section. So I'm going to click this plus button again one more time. Click on regular. So this time we need 2 equal halves. So I'm going to click on this one here, and we're going to add a video module. So this time we're going to do something different. Before I used to use my text module for my videos, but recently I just realized that there's more items that you could do. There's more things that you can actually do with the video module. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to come over here to video, add my video module, and then for my video URL, let me just go to YouTube and select a video. So in fact, I'm going to choose my own video. So I'm going to come over here, click on Creator Studio. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you may need to do so, because there's quite a lot of videos here which have tutorials on how to design websites. So I'm going to click on edit, and then I'm just going to copy my link from here, and then I'm going to come over here and paste it. So when it comes to the overlay, this is what I mean. So if I'm going to come over here to overlay and image overlay URL, I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to choose, let's say, this image, click upload an image. So what you'll see now is we have a custom image here with a play button that we can customize. And we also have an overlay effect. This you couldn't get by just adding your text module, your video in a text module. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to save. And then I'm going to come over here to this module and add a text module. And then in our text module, I'm going to add some dummy text. Okay, so that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and click on design, click on text, and let's make that slightly bigger. So I'm going to bump it up to about, say, 18 pixels, and we're going to increase the line height. And we might as well make it bold, because I'm going to do something different with this. Okay, so that's looking good so far. Finally, let's come over here to our text color. We're going to swap that and make it light, because I'm going to have a solid color behind it. So now I'm going to go ahead and save. It's time to come into our row settings. So in our row settings, I'm going to make this full width. So I'm going to come over here to design, click on sizing, and I'm going to click on full width. We're going to come over here to use gutter width. And I'm going to set this to 1. Okay, so that's looking good. And then I'm going to come here and equalize column heights and then save. So pretty much our video now is covering most of that area, but we're not done yet, because I can see that we still have some white space here. So next I'm going to come over here to my section settings and add a background color. So I'm going to click this plus button here and let's go with this. In fact, that's, all right, let's go with that. I'm going to save for now. And then I'm going to come over here to this module, click on the settings, click on design. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come over here to our text module. So I'm going to click on module settings, click on design, and let's come over here to sizing. In fact, we need spacing because we need to add some padding. So on the left, or in fact on the top, I'm going to add, say, 100. and then right, let's start off with 40, and then left, let's do 100. Now I'm just adding these numbers for now just to see where things are. I may just go back in and change those. So I'm going to click on Save Changes. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear this blue space. So I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on Design, Spacing, and then I'm going to make sure the padding top is set to 0 and 0 for the bottom, and then save. And then come over here to my row settings, click on Design, and the same thing, I'm going to come over here to Spacing. Then I'm going to make sure that my padding top is set to 0. Now you can see that our video is flash and there's no more space there. So I'm going to do the same to the bottom. So that's looking good so far. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Now let's customize our text. So I'm going to come back into my module settings. I'm going to add a title here. So this time, instead of adding a blurb or whatever, all I can do now is to just highlight this text and set it as a heading. So I'm going to choose heading 1 like that. And I think this looks much better when it's centered. Not sure. All right, let me leave it as it is. I'm going to come over here to Design, click on Header Text, and I'm going to increase that to about, say, 36. And I'm going to need some line height. And I'm also going to make it bold so that it really stands out, and all caps. Okay, so that's looking good so far. Let's come over here to our content. The padding, I'm not really happy with the padding here on the right, so I need to give it more breathing space. So I'm going to come over here to Design, click on Spacing, and instead of having 40 to the right, I'm going to add 100. Okay, so that's looking better. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Okay, so far this is what we have in our layout. Let's add one more section. Okay, so next let's add another section. So I'm going to click on this plus button here, and I'm going to click on regular, and this time we just need a single row. So in that row we're going to have a blog. Now the reason why it's important to have a blog on an agency website, or if you're a freelancer, is because you need to showcase, your skills in your videos that you produce all your articles. So I'm going to come over here, and so far we're just going to add 10, let's say 3, because we don't need a lot. So the layout that we have does not suit our style. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that. So I'm going to come over here to Design, click on Layout, and then change that to Grid. Okay, so that's much better. So all we need to do now for this section is to add a title to the top. So I'm going to click on Save for now. So I'm going to add another row. So I'm going to click this plus button here, add a single row, and this time it's going to have our text. And in that text, I am going to call this blog, and we're going to make it heading like that. Come over here into Design, click on Header Text, make it bold, all caps, and we also need it centered. We may want to increase the size to about say 40 as well, so we can see it. Let's come over here to our content, click on text, and I'm just going to center it by doing that. And then I'm going to go ahead and save changes and then drag this to the top. Right, so that's looking good. So we're almost done designing our page. So let's come over here and make some more adjustments here. So right here, we can see that we don't have a lot of breathing space around this row. So what we're going to do is we can either add some margins to the row, or we can add some padding to the section. So I'm going to add the padding. So I'm going to come over here, and instead of just looking for it, I'm just going to search for it. So on the top, I'm just going to say, let's try 60. See how that looks. Well, it hasn't made much of a difference. So let's say 100. Yeah, that's slightly better. And we're going to do the same to the bottom. Yep, that's looking good. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Now let's come over here to the top, because I've saved the best for last. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our new background styles. I mean, if you watched my previous video, you noticed that I'm a fan of these new blending modes. So we're going to do the same for this design. So first off, I'm going to come over here to my section settings, click on background, and then we're going to come over here to our gradients. Click this plus button here. So what really works with these images is having a really warm color. So I like this yellow or orange, and then for here I'll just leave it as blue. That's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna adjust my angle. Okay, I think that will do. So let's come over here to our image and add some blending modes. Let's test this to see which one is working fine. So I've just added multiply. It's not really looking cool. Screen. Right, I could use this if we flip this text and make it dark, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go with that. So let's see what other options we have. Okay, that's a bit too extreme. Okay, let's try soft light. Okay, so I think I'm set on soft light. Okay, I'm going to save for now. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to my row settings and add some margins. Right, so margin top, let's try 100. And for the bottom, I'm going to do 100 as well. Okay, so now you can start to see that we are now seeing more of our image. Let's try 200. Okay, that's much better. Yeah, in fact, I'm really liking this. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead now and save. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to try and push this down a little bit. So I'm going to come over here to my module settings, click on padding. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure that I don't have any padding on the bottom and any margins either, like that. Okay, so that's looking good. So this is how you can quickly put together a design for your freelance business or even a design agency. So the idea of this layout is to have this main area here to just show that there's a team of people working. If you're going to use this layout, you can replace this image with another image depending on what suits your needs. So yes, I was saying the idea for this is to just show people the environment that you work in. And then on the bottom here, these are your services. So pretty much you can give people an idea of what services you do. So over here, you can have a video which has your show reel. And then finally, you have your blog where you occasionally post tips, techniques, or anything that's going around in your business. Okay, so now that I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and save. Now, as I mentioned before, if you'd like to use this layout, all you have to do is to click the link I've left in the show notes below, and then you can go ahead and download this layout and use it as much as you want. Okay, so I'm going to exit the Visual Builder, and that's our final design. Okay, so we've come to the end of our tutorial. So let me just go through some of these questions that have just come in. I've got a question here from Everything Video for you guys. And he says, tell me, I just now watch your video. Who is this site? I'm not sure what you mean by the question, but if you're asking who is this site designed for, this is pretty much for anyone who is a freelance designer or a design agency. So this page can be used as a home page because it has the basic elements that are needed for that kind of field. Okay, and also thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in. We've got Tobias here, and I think it's sureunion.com. Yes, hello to everyone. Now, sorry, I have to look down to my phone to read these questions. That's because I can't look at my computer because it's right beside me, so it's a bit distracting. Sorry about that. Okay, I've got another question here. Have you ever used Webflow? The answer to that is no, I've never used Webflow. I'm not sure what that is, but I'll take a look and see what that's about. Okay, are there any more questions? If you have any more questions, I can stick around for the next few minutes to answer your questions as this is live. So today was the launch of Divi Blueprint 3. This is a fantastic course if you want to get started with Divi. It has everything that you need. And what makes this course unique is when you buy the course, every time Divi pushes out any updates, I will be doing some videos on those just to keep you up to date with what's going on around Divi. And also, I'll be doing more of these videos similar to what I've done today, whereby I create layouts whereby you can see how these layouts are put together. Okay, so can Divi have some e-commerce features? Out of the box, Divi doesn't have any e-commerce features. However, it works really, really well with WooCommerce. So as soon as you download the plugin, and WooCommerce is free, by the way, so all you have to do is integrate WooCommerce into Divi, and it works really, really well. I've done this before on a proper commercial website. Okay, let's see if we have any comments. Okay, is it Gaio or Geo? I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Sorry about that. Now, you say you've never used Divi, but it looks very cool. Now, to be honest with you, Divi is amazing. I've used Divi now for over 4 years, I think. And the reason why I went into Divi is because I have a design agency. So I signed up with Groupon. So when I signed up with Groupon, I got a flood of customers because I discounted my price to a very, very, very low price. So when I discounted it, I didn't realize that a lot of people were going to jump on for it. So at that time, I was using Headway. And Headway at that time was, it was a very good piece of software, but it took me a long time to tweak the things that I needed. So when I stumbled across Divi, it made the designing of these websites very, very easy. So I've just fallen in love with Divi since then. Okay, let's see if we have any more questions. And by the way, so that you know, I'm also a content creator working with Elegant Themes, which are the designers of Divi. So yes, I work with Divi pretty much every day. Okay, so there are no more questions. Now, guys, if you'd like to sign up to the course, there's a discount, a launch discount. It's a 40% discount. You save pretty much about $100. I've got all the details that you need in the show notes below. And because this is just a launch offer, it's not going to be there for very long. So you might need to jump on it. I think I'm going to leave it up for about 3 days just to make sure that enough people get to see the offer. All right, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in, and wish you all the best. Have a good weekend, and goodbye.